Thanks for tuning in, Budget Nerd here. Something that will always be a part of my channel is networking. If you haven't seen some of my other network videos, check them out, links below. Something I get a lot from those videos are people asking if they can add a second router to their network. Most likely they're wanting to increase their Wi-Fi range or speed, or want to increase their network's physical size by adding Ethernet ports. So I figured a video was in order. Let's get started. To answer the question, yes, you can add a second router to your network. It's a good budget option if you have another one lying around and you're mildly techie. Are there considerations to ponder when adding a second router to your network? Yes, there are. Most simple networks only need one router. So you can add another, but should you? Well, it depends. When you wire up another router to your network, you can do it one of two ways: LAN to LAN or LAN to WAN. LAN to LAN is what most people would be looking for. You plug one end of your Ethernet cable into the LAN port of your original router, and plug the other end into the LAN port of your second router. After some configuring, you can share files and resources, including internet, with any device connected to either router. You would be extending your network, giving you more Ethernet ports or more wireless coverage if you put distance between the two. If you hook up a second router using LAN to WAN, you'll run a cable from your original router's LAN port to the WAN port on your second router. If you do it this way, you'll create a new network within your existing network. This is not what most people are after, but there are reasons why you might want to do it this way, including isolating devices that really take up a lot of network bandwidth, or creating specific rules for devices only connected to this router. This sort of setup can also help organize traffic on your network and prevent congestion where you don't want it, and will prevent communication between devices on the different networks. If you don't have the ability to connect the two routers with an Ethernet cable, you can connect the routers together wirelessly, as long as they support this option and the same wireless security protocols or are otherwise compatible. The big takeaway here is with either of these routes you take, you can't just plug in a router and have it work. There is some configuring to do. Now, this video originally was going to cover more, including how to set up a second router, but the video was getting too long and continually strayed from the main goal of just answering the initial questions. There already are good videos and articles out there showing how it's done. I put a link below to a good WikiHow article if you are looking for instructions. However, if there is any interest, I could always make a separate video about it. The rest of this video is just my take on this question. If you have a different take, drop a comment. If you're considering using a second router, look at the instructions at the link below. If you come away from that thinking a second router is not in your future, there are much easier ways to add Ethernet ports or increase the wireless capability of your existing network. Instead of using another router to add Ethernet ports, just add a switch. If you have to buy something, a switch is cheaper than a router is and is an easy way to add ports to an existing network. With most common consumer switches, there's no configuring needed. Just plug one port on the switch into a LAN port on your router and you're all set. It's that simple. If you're after a simple way to add to your wireless range or increase your wireless speed, use an access point. Access points are usually a bit cheaper than routers, and while they do need some configuring, this is much easier to do than adding a second router. If your range is fine but you want faster wireless speeds, then have your access point replace your router's wireless. Just make sure your access point you will buy will actually accomplish this. If you're after more range, then you'd leave your router's wireless turned on and use the new access point to supplement it, placing the new access point in another part of the house. Unless you have a specific need for what an additional router can offer your network, adding a switch or an access point is usually the easiest way to go. Now, a few caveats. Some modern routers have modes that make adding them to an existing network easier. For example, the TP-Link AX21 I just reviewed, link below, has a setting called Access Point Mode. It's a simple option that does everything for you, so it will act as just an access point. I wouldn't buy a second router just to use this mode. You're probably still better off buying an access point instead. However, if you aren't super tech savvy, and have a newer router lying around with a mode like this, then perhaps it's a money-saving option. Hopefully this helps and answers the question. What other networking topics would you like to see covered? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.